Welcome to the Startup Grind. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Startup Grind event. If this is the first time you attend Startup Grind, I'll just like to give you a brief about it. Startup Grind is a global network of entrepreneurial communities, and the purpose of it is to hold events where we get to learn from people who have already established their businesses and achieved a level of success, so we can learn from them. With us this evening is the founder of yallawain, Hamad Aljudai, and he's going to talk about not just the aspect of growing the business. Hamad's background is not in tech, it was not in design, but he was able to cover both design and tech and building a viable business. So we'll look at all these experiences in this interview. Welcome, Hamad.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so just for the people that are looking to start their own businesses and may not have started in the tech space or within the startup world, can you give us a brief background about your career and what led you up to the point of yallawain?
Okay, so I initially graduated from Kuwait University, College of Business Administration. I studied finance, and then after my graduation, I joined an investment company. Doing that for 4 years. At that time, I believe it was around 2010 when Maktoob was acquired by Yahoo. And the first ArabNet conference in the region was in Beirut, and I was fortunate enough to attend that. And I believe it was at that point where I got the interest in the space, and I realized something's interesting here, something that I could possibly build a career out of, and a business.
And you had the idea for yallawain at that time, or it was just the space that interested you?
No, so the thing with yallawain, I think it has more to do with my personal background. Growing up, I was more of an introvert. I didn't go out all that much, honestly. And I still remember my first experience dining out at one of the restaurants and looking at the menu. I was all confused. I didn't know what to order. It was overwhelming. And I just wished if, it would be cool if everyone who came here to this restaurant just left a vote, for example, just you should try this and not that. And then looking at just the menu and knowing what people would recommend, it probably would have saved me some of the, dilemma and embarrassment maybe, I don't know, yeah. So it just seemed like at that point this would be a cool project. It would be cool for this to exist.
Okay, but a lot of people go to restaurants and they don't know what to order, but they don't decide to start a startup. So what compelled you to actually take this on as a project?
Okay, so honestly, at that point, it wasn't, the idea of a startup wasn't crystallized in my mind. It was just that, maybe this would make sense as a website. I don't know how this website would make money. But I know at the time we had bloggers which were kind of doing some sponsorships and advertising, and they made some money even though they were just blogs. And I figured, if I could just put the menus on or have everyone add their favorite dishes in their favorite restaurants, this would be a very interesting website. I would personally use it, and it's just naturally the idea progressed. I think we launched the website in around September 2010 or 11.
2000. Okay.
I can't really put a date on it, but yeah.
Okay, but so yallawain started off as a website.
Right.
But again, at that time, you didn't have any background in building tech companies or website. So
I completely underestimated the work needed to launch a website. And even if after you launch the website, it's not yet finished. Like you have to keep building, improving. You know, you have to treat it like a business, and you have to have a running cost. You have to have a team of maybe 2, 3, 4 people who either work on the website, work on the content, the marketing, etc. None of that was in my mind. I didn't budget for any of that. All I had was 5,000 KD in savings, and you know, I looked around online, trying to find a team of developers who would do my website at the price I have, at the budget I have. And you know, I worked with a couple of engineers from Poland. Why Poland? Because you know, they weren't as expensive as Western Europe or the States, and yet you know, they seemed like you know, a good group of people to work with. And so we kicked off the relationship then and there, and we started working until I ran out of money, and then I shelved the project. And that was it. That was yallawain back in 2011. That was, yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure you've learned a lot since then.
Right.
But going back to that moment where you decided to pursue it as a project and you wanted to build the website, in terms of decision making,
right.
What were you looking for in the developers, for example? How can you tell whether a design is good or bad? So what was the decision making behind it?
Behind recruiting the company, or
in terms of just building the platform itself, yallawain.
Right. So honestly, like I said, like I had zero experience going into this, and I remember. So the designer was Mexican, and he's a great guy, fresh out of college, and so I asked him, like, would you please help me design this website? And he was like, yeah, sure. Just send me the wireframes. And I was like, what is that? شنو يعني wireframe?
Yeah.
And then he told me, yeah, it's just like the outline and this and that, just so I understand what you need done. I was like, okay. So I go online and I start researching, reading like how to do a wireframe, what it is. And I think that was my start in design. It was just trying to provide the requirements or explain to someone else what I needed done.